Hello, and welcome to this live online concert presented by the National Arts Club. I'm Paul Schwendener, and on behalf of the Music Committee, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this event. For those of you not familiar with the club, we're a 501c3 nonprofit with a mission to stimulate, foster, and promote public interest in the arts. Annually, the club offers more than 150 free programs to the public, including exhibitions, theatrical and musical performances, lectures, and readings. For more information about the club and to learn how you can become a member, please visit us at nationalartsclub.org or find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This season, the National Arts Club is honored to be collaborating with the Sphinx organization to present a series of classical concerts featuring outstanding young Black and Latino musicians. The Sphinx organization is a national social justice organization dedicated to transforming lives through the power of diversity in the arts. Sphinx's 4 program areas, education and access, artist development, performing artists, and arts leadership form a pipeline that develops and supports diversity at every level. Learn more at sphinxmusic.org. These live stream concerts take place during the entire season on 2 Thursdays each month at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please check the National Arts Club online calendar for details. Now, today, the National Arts Club is delighted to present Venezuelan violinist Alison Lovera and pianist David Córdoba, who hails from Medellin, Colombia. Both performers have received widespread international acclaim. Alison has been awarded the first prize at the Maurice Hasson National Violin Competition, the Excellence Award from the Young Aragueno Artist Competition, semi-finalist in several Sphinx competitions, and winner of the solo competition at the Chicago College for the Performing Arts. David has won awards at the WCM International Piano Competition in Northern Ireland, the Memphis International Piano Competition, and the Colombian National Competition. Both artists have performed as soloists in the USA and abroad, and both are dedicated chamber music players. The program for today can be seen in your chat sidebar. So now I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the music.
Hello everybody, it's such a pleasure to share music with you today. In this recital we will start with a piece by Nicanor Abelardo. He's a composer from the Philippines and he was really important for the art song of that country. However, today we will be playing a piece, one of his most famous pieces, for violin and piano. This piece anyway resembles this operatic and lyrical character. So for you, Cavatina Opus 7 for violin and piano by Nicanor Abelardo. The next piece we will be performing is Sonata No. 4 for violin and piano by Ludwig van Beethoven. This piece is actually my favorite piece of the whole recital because you can actually feel this collaboration between the piano and the violin. This dialogue is built in 3 different movements, each one with a really defined character. So we have a Presto in sonata form for the first movement, then we have a playful Andante Scherzoso, and at the end we have all this Beethoven fire in an Allegro Molto. So this is Sonata No. 4 in A minor for violin and piano by Beethoven.
Christophe Willibald Gluck was a composer of French and Italian opera in the early classical period. The melody from the Dance of the Blessed Spirits from the opera Orpheus and Euridice is one of the most beautiful melodies in the whole opera history. Right now we're going to perform an arrangement made by the famous violinist and composer Fritz Kreisler. Personally, I want to dedicate this piece to my husband, whose birthday is today. I hope my beloved husband can really enjoy this piece. And thank you so much to you all for being here, and I hope you also enjoy. With you, Melodie by Gluck, arrangement by Fritz Kreisler. To finalize our program, we're going to perform the first movement of the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto in E minor, Opus 64. This was his last large orchestration composition, and this is one of the most famous concerto and one of the most interpreted concertos around the world. We want to thank the National Arts Club in association with Sphinx Organization for giving us the opportunity to perform in this wonderful recital. And of course, to you all for streaming and enjoying an afternoon of beautiful music.
bring Alison and David on for a Q&A. If you have any questions for them, please drop them in the chat box. Hi, Alison and David.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for that performance. That was wonderful.
Our pleasure, yeah.
Thank you for the invitation.
Of course. And while we give folks a chance to ask some questions, I want to start with one. And sorry if you mentioned this in the recording, but do you want to tell us where the performance was recorded?
Yes, this is Harris Hall from the University of Memphis, of course in Memphis, Tennessee, which is our school.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you're both students there.
Yes.
And then that's how you've met, I assume?
So yeah, we met through actually a text message because I was going to move to Memphis. And I got David's contact because he was gonna help me like find some places I could rent something. And after when we were already here at school, that was this semester, right?
Yeah, this semester we
yeah,
started to play together.
We started to play together because we had this chamber music class, and yeah, we were friends already. So it was like, yeah, let's play something. And we started with the Beethoven Sonata, actually Beethoven Sonata number 4. That was our very first piece. And after our second rehearsal, we decided to, let's just do this official and let's try to, let's start a duet. So now, officially, we're announcing that we're a duet named Canas Duo. So,
great.
Yeah.
Heard it here first. A well-matched pair. And then, can you tell us a little bit about how you picked the songs that you performed today, and also, were these songs you already knew, or did you learn them for the performance?
Okay, the first one, not the first one. The first one we started rehearsing was the Beethoven Sonata. So this basically was an Alison's idea because she was playing this for her recital that just happened, 2 weeks ago?
1 week ago.
1 week ago. So she was playing the Mendelssohn Concerto and also this Beethoven Sonata. And then we thought that we needed some short pieces, and this was also Alison's idea, this Nicanor Abelardo piece, and also Gluck's Melodie.
Yes. Melodie. So we chose the Nicanor Abelardo's piece, first because we thought it was very beautiful, and second because part of our mission is going to be performing works by underrepresented composers. And as Nicanor Abelardo is a Filipino composer, something we don't hear every day, he has beautiful pieces for violin and piano. This was our favorite, so we decided to play this one. And the Gluck, I took the decision that we could perform that one because of how I mentioned today is my husband's birthday. And I like a month ago, something like that, I sent her a recording of this particular piece, and it became one of his favorite violin pieces. He was just, I just love it. So yeah, we did this practically for him.
Yeah.
It was a good mix of compositions, and thank you for representing some lesser known composers as well. And on a similar note, Nick has a question, and his question is, could you talk a little bit about your rehearsal process? How long does it typically take you to learn a song? What goes into it?
Okay, we have been playing like for 2 months already. Of course, since we want to do this like in the right way, to do all this chamber music, we try to be really prepared before the first rehearsal, like knowing our parts, like each part, and also knowing the score, like what the violin has, what the piano has, and how they interact. And then we just start doing it, rehearsing and throwing out ideas and negotiating too, like, okay, I need this here, I want this here, and yeah, that's part of the process, but it depends also in every piece, like the difficulties and the challenges of every piece, so that will change according to that too.
Yeah, we have been also trying to adjust our schedules because David is doing his doctorate here in University of Memphis, so he's very busy, plus teaching. And I'm doing a fellowship with the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, so I'm like in between the school and the orchestra rehearsals. So we try to be as effective as possible in each rehearsal, try to be at least 1.5 hours, and at least get one movement together. And as David said, a lot of negotiation, and we try to be very understanding of each other's needs musically, so we can like work very well together. And yeah, it has been working,
Yeah, it sounded like it worked well today. And so now let's just learn a little bit more about the two of you. How did each of you get started playing? What inspired you?
Yes, I'm from Colombia, as you said at the beginning. I started when I was 10 years old. My grandfather was a musician as well. I don't come from a musician family, but he was a musician in a church. He used to play the organ there. So I have these like really, really early childhood memories that playing, singing with him. And then I don't know, I always tell the same story. Just I started playing guitar, I quit guitar, it was too uncomfortable for my hands. I don't know, I don't think it's a good instrument for a kid with small hands. And then I started playing piano, I felt better with it. And one thing led to another thing, and then I realized I was so involved in this. So I decided to, anyway, follow that energy. And yes, I'm here doing my doctorate.
Great. How about you, Alison?
For me, it was a little bit different. I started in music when I was 4. I actually have always had a little attention problems. So when I was in preschool, the teacher actually recommended my mom. You know, like the only place where she actually pays attention is in the place where she has like musical instruments. And yeah, so my mom took me to a music school in a very small town in Venezuela, and I started there with the recorder. And yeah, it was the perfect work for me. Since I was like 4 or 5 years old, I already knew I was going to be a musician. And a few years later, I chose the violin. And this was a very funny story because my mom was like, "Are you sure violin is too hard? We don't have the money to afford a violin, and I don't want to buy one, and after you're gonna say I don't want it. So if you choose a violin, you're gonna have to stick with it." And I was like, I have always been very stubborn. So I was like, no, I want violin, no, I want violin for like a week. And she was like, okay, let's do violin. So we got a very old violin my sister had in her closet because she tried violin as well. Um, and we repaired that instrument, and I started with that instrument, and since then I haven't left it. Like, I always wanted the violin. So yeah, here I am right now.
We're glad you both stuck with it. It seems like it's worked out, and I'm sure your mom is happy as well.
Oh, she's super happy. Yeah.
So just a couple more questions. Not including composers performed today, who are some of your favorite other composers?
Oh, I have so many favorite composers. I would say for piano, the good thing about piano is that we have such a big repertoire, many, many pieces composed through all history. So, but my favorites are like late romantic composer, like Rachmaninoff, also Chopin, he's more romantic. Chopin, Schumann, Mahler, and of course the French composers are also great. Ravel, Debussy, I will say, and Poulenc. I think those are my favorites.
For me, my favorite composers, we have some in common actually. But my number one would be Brahms. I love Brahms symphonies. I love Brahms concerto. I love Brahms everything, sonata, everything. I really like Mahler compositions for orchestra, and also his compositions for voice, which are very, very amazing, as well as the French composers, Debussy, Ravel. Yeah, I also like Schubert and Schumann, which Mozart, of course, Bach. I don't know. I love all the composers. Yeah, I love music. Yeah.
There's a lot of options out there. Those are all great choices, though. Second to last question. Other than classical, what other types of music do you listen to, or do you tend to listen mostly to classical?
In my case, I don't listen mostly to classical, which is a little weird. I do listen to classical music, but I try to listen as many genres as possible. As a musician, I think I should be aware of everything that's happening actually regarding music, you know? So I tend to I go from like pop, hip hop, rap, everything rock, Latin music, like salsa, merengue, even reggaeton, everything. I like absolutely everything. Yeah,
well, in my case, I listen a lot to classical music. Is my favorite thing. So yeah, I am a little bit in the other side, but I do listen. I am from Colombia. I listen to Colombian music, to Latin music. I really like salsa. I really like tangos. Are my favorite. Boleros is also a really important genre for us in Latin America. And also, I listen to some pop, some rock, like here and there. But yeah, I mean, mainly classical. I guess a classical guy, some kind of nerd in a way.
Well, that's a good balance between the two of you. And then my final question for you will be, how can folks find out more about you? Are you on Instagram, websites? How should they track you down?
Yet we don't have like a website as a duo yet, but we have our own YouTube channels and Facebook and Instagram. So you will find me like David Córdoba, pianist. You will put that on Google. I'm sure you'll find some videos on YouTube and also my Instagram and Facebook profiles.
Same for me. I do have Facebook, Instagram, and I have my website. Everything is under the same name, Alison Lovera. You can find me on all social media except for Twitter. I don't have Twitter. But you should be expecting soon at least social media from the duet. So just stay tuned with us, and we're going to announce in our websites and our social media all our upcoming plans and events.
All right, well, we look forward to it. And in the meantime, we encourage everyone to search your names on Instagram, Twitter, etc. And like you said, you're sure they'll find you. Alison and David, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. And I want to encourage everyone to check out nationalartsclub.org for more upcoming programs. Have a great afternoon, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.